Good morning, friends. Welcome to our channel Unlimited Potential Inside. And you're watching this sixth episode of Up Talks with Vineet. Friends, the boom in the coaching and consulting industry means clients have many choices when choosing the right coach or consultant. And to get hired, you need to set yourself apart. You need a unique brand positioning, a strong market presence to attract right kind of clients. And one of the big stumbling blocks I have seen is that most good coaches tend to be very humble and non braggy. So advertising feels like an unnatural thing. Rather, I've heard many of the coaches saying, I am into coaching so that I don't have to market myself. And the challenge is that no matter how excellent your coaching skills are, you'll starve if you don't know how to market your coaching business. Having sales skills and strategies is essential to become anything else like a successful coach as well. And that's where when I met Rajesh Nair, I thought he could help bridge that gap. Rajesh is an advertising and marketing professional with over 3 decades of work experience. And he also has interestingly started his own coaching journey as well. He started his career as a copywriter in 1990, and he had stints with many top companies like DDB, Mudra, MA, Bosel. And during this time, he worked on a diverse portfolio of brands including Bosch, Madura, Madura Garments, United Breweries, Welcome Group from ITC. I think it has been acquired by ITC now, ANZ Bank, Compaq, Henkel, and so many others. And amongst his international accolades, his work for the Sheraton Towers hotel chain stands out. It was very first David Ogley V Award to be won by an Indian agency. And Rajesh left his agency life as a creative director and set up his own shop in 2005. So this was his another shift in his career, and he had this company called Headjam Consulting Limited, Private Limited. Clients over the years have included some of the top-notch clients like Mindtree, Microsoft, Madura Garments, Capillary, Indian Terrain, Wipro, Emphasis, ESPN, and others. The work includes everything from brand consulting and corporate identity to advertising and print design. And on the interest part, Rajesh spends his free time on jazz, sci-fi, first-person shooters, films, graphics, novels, and wishing he wished that he had more free time. And we are good friends now, and we keep talking. And he's such an amazing guy from his experience, from kind of personality he is. So let's bring Rajesh on the screen and talk with him about this. How do we work on this particular thing, which is trying to bridge the gap between being a coach and also marketing yourself rightly. So here is Rajesh. Hey Rajesh, how are you?
Hi, Vineet. That's the best advertising anyone has ever done for me. So please continue. It's nice to hear something like that. How are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know that mostly advertising folks advertise for others, they don't do for themselves. But I think everything that I said was not advertising. It was not exaggerated. It was just not all true figures. So, Rajesh, what? Yeah, any thoughts, Rajesh?
No, that was a pretty succinct introduction. So I also like the fact that you mentioned that in coaching people like to be a little in the background because and now that I've started the journey myself, I get to understand it a little better from the inside. But it is a dichotomy that people have to figure out for themselves. Like I'm a coach, I'm a little laid back. Not laid back is not the right word. I step back a little bit and allow others to think and speak. But how do I then promote myself as a business? That's a pretty important thing, and I think you've hit the nail on the head in terms of that difference which is there. So it would be a good topic for discussion today.
Awesome, Rajesh. Amazing. As I was saying initially, Rajesh, you had quite an amazing career, 3 decades of marketing experience, worked for some of the top companies, and since almost last 15 years, you're running your own company as well, right? and many coaches, and even in general, even if they are not coaches, right, they aspire to do something of their own, something different in their career, but then so many factors that holds them. So why don't you put some light on your journey till now? How you were able to manage so many things, right? You started with your with top corporates, right? Then you started your own shop, and now you are also, kind of
Jumping
adding
from
coaching to
one
your skills.
to yeah. Uh, So yeah, so I think it wasn't an easy transition, let me say, from agency life to setting up my own shop. And if I now go back in time and try to figure out why exactly one did that, there was this feeling at that point in time that I want to be my own boss. We all have this thought once in a while, right? You're working for someone versus working for yourself. There's always some great excitement and thinking behind that. One doesn't really know the kind of effort which is involved until one actually takes that step. It's like, the standard Spider-Man line, with great power comes great responsibility. So once you set up your own shop, you suddenly realize that you're responsible for other people. Their well-being becomes very important, and how you handle your clients becomes extremely important. In advertising, as a creative person, you're not really directly dealing with the client in most cases until you start getting into a much senior role. There's a distance maintained between yourself and the client. But the minute you set up your own shop, you're then dealing directly with the client. You're actually running the business. You get into areas you never thought you would get into. You need to know some fundamentals of finance and taxation. So there's a whole bunch of things that you have to learn. And for me, it was a huge learning exercise. It was a step that, in retrospect, was a good step to take. It's not that I regret any of the stuff that I did, leaving agency life behind and setting up my own shop. I always feel that the two most important things when it comes to work is you should be learning constantly and you should be having fun. If you've got one of those, good. Uh, if you have both, great. And if you don't have even one, then there's something wrong somewhere. You should be learning and you should be having fun. And it's been a huge learning experience these last 15 years. The My journey right from joining advertising in 1990 was a huge learning experience until that point where I said, okay, now I've reached a certain stage where I need to push myself a little harder, and therefore jumped into setting up my own shop. After so many years of that, I think I've reached another crossroad where I'm saying, okay, now looking at the future, and the gray hairs on my head show that time is of the essence now. There's not too many years left where I want to sit down and do a 9 to 5. So going forward, I think coaching is another opportunity I'm seeing to learn and have fun. It's something which I've discovered there seems to be some aptitude for coaching, and I see this as the next stage of the evolution of Rajesh Nair, if you want to put it in those terms, evolving into some strange animal who's a mix of this and that. But it's an interesting journey so far.
Awesome, awesome, Rajesh. That's great. I think you can actually become dual coach. Marketing coach as well as
You never
executive coach.
know. You never know. You never know.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, because the kind of experience you have, right? Merging that, and that's the beauty of coaching, right? You can create your own micro niche and
Correct.
start working on that. So, Rajesh, one confusion that prevails among people is about exactly what you said, is that, or rather, I'll say the stumbling block that I've seen in most of the coaches is that they're very humble, right? And they don't want to brag about themselves. And I see you also on those lines. So advertising somewhere becomes very, kind of unnatural, right? Whether I've heard people saying that, hey, I'll become coach so that I don't have to market myself. I don't
Right.
want to market
Right.
and all that. And uh, but no matter how excellent your coaching skills are, there are two paths, right? One is the substance of coaching, and then how saleable you are, right? If I am a
Correct.
great coach but I am not even able to find a client, then I'll starve. right?
Right.
Because I don't know how to market myself. Right? So how can coaches bridge this gap of being that guy who is non-braggy and all that, and still doing effective marketing about themselves?
So I think the first thing to understand is that advertising doesn't mean that you need to brag about yourself and you need to make yourself bigger than what you are. I think a lot of people have this misconception because they see advertising on TV, and we are all exposed to advertising right from childhood, right? And today, in fact, advertising is hitting us from every possible angle, whether we are online or we are watching TV or whatever. There's advertising, or we are on our phone. We get advertising hitting us from all sides. So, and the perception is that, oh, you need to be extremely loud and forceful in order to be heard above the rest of the crowd. And therefore it's not a good thing to be pushing yourself in such a crude and a vulgar manner is the general thought. uh, but what people need to understand, and especially coaches who are looking to market themselves, is that there are multiple ways of putting yourself out there. And I think it's important for people to understand that advertising is only a part of the entire what we call the marketing mix. I might be getting a little technical here and there, but these are terms which I'm sure anyone can Google and get a lot of information on this. There's a ton of information out there for people to check out. So if we just look at the very fundamental principles of marketing, which are the 4 P's of marketing as they call it, which is price, place, product, and promotion. Promotion is the advertising part. It's only a part of the whole, right? And the other factors are equally important. So if you take product, for example, in this case, where you're talking about coaching and coaches, the product is yourself, right? You are the product, and it's a little unusual for people to think in that manner, especially if you're coming from the corporate world. You are the product. I have run my own business all these years, so my business has been the product, right? My service is the product. So that's the first step, to recognize yourself as the product, and what value do you give to your customers is the very very first step that you need to take even before you think about talking to someone else. You need to understand what is it that you bring to the table, and if you start from that perspective, then a lot of things start falling into place. So you might look at yourself, and you need to ask these questions to yourself very honestly, saying, what kind of voice do I want to use when I'm talking to prospective clients? What is it that I'm actually trying to communicate? What is it that I want? What benefit do I want to communicate? Right? And you might, start getting answers which are not you might actually you will start getting answers which are very closely linked to who you are as a person. So if you're a reserved, quiet, introverted person who likes to help others, then that's what you will sell to your prospective clients. That's what you'll be talking to them about. And you will attract people who want someone like that. If you're a loud, brash guy and you're the life of the party, you're an extroverted person, and your coaching style is that, then that's how you will communicate to your clientele, and you will get clients who want people like that. So advertising is not just one standard thing of like, you're standing on the rooftops and shouting to everyone. There are different ways to communicate, and it's a process of understanding what is it that you are, what are you offering to your prospects, and how do you want to communicate to them. These things need to be looked at carefully. Then you can arrive at something which doesn't put you in an awkward position, doesn't make you out to be something that you're not. A simple way to look at it is, you take, let's say, soaps, the most ubiquitous example that I can take. You have soaps which make you fresh. You have soaps which pamper you with their softness. If you look at a Viral or versus a Dove, they're two very different soaps, or a Lifebuoy,
Yeah.
hardworking soap. So what personality are you will then determine how you speak. And if you look at Livell advertising versus Dove advertising versus Lifebuoy advertising, they talk very differently. So people are different. All of us as products are different. How we talk will depend on who we are as people and who we are as products. and what is the benefit that we offer. So a very roundabout way of saying that advertising is not about showing off and shouting from the rooftops. It's about finding your tone and manner, finding your voice, and speaking genuinely to people who you want as customers. I think that's the critical thing to understand.
Awesome, Rajesh. That's a great perspective. So, marketing is about not about bragging about yourself and all that, right? It's important to
Correct.
finding your voice and then pitching it to right people. Because
Correct.
I think, and this thoughts also come from the kind of advertising that we have seen in particularly in our country, right? For example,
Right.
the moment you have an axe, you have.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So it goes to the extreme, right? All girls are over you because hey, you have applied that.
That's also a function, Vineet, of when you are in a crowded space, there's nothing really to differentiate one duo from the other. You can pick up any duo blindly; it's not going to change your life dramatically. So that's when the exaggeration comes in. So if you, as a coach, feel that there's nothing to differentiate you between yourself and the other thousands of other coaches out there, you will start to think of ways to make yourself a little louder and different in an unnatural way, right?
Yeah.
But if you genuinely have a passion for coaching and you feel that okay, there's a particular niche that I want to address, and I think that's the first question that you should be asking yourself: what kind of coach am I? That
Exactly.
is one of the most critical questions, because you could be. It's like saying, what are you? I'm a coach. So what kind of sport do you coach? Right? You could be coaching golf. You could be coaching soccer. Again, then supposing I say I'm, a soccer coach, football coach. What position are you coaching? Are you coaching the goalkeeper or the forward? Right? That again, so you start getting very specialized in terms of what you're talking about, and I think that is extremely important for all of us to do at an early stage, to understand where we're headed, so that we start defining ourselves and our target audience very, very clearly. That will give us a greater opportunity to fine tune our communication and fine tune the way that we speak, because then we're not talking to aam janta, we're not talking to the whole world, we're talking very specifically to someone, and what we say to them also becomes far more fine tuned.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that perfectly makes sense. I think, and particularly in again in our country, coaching is such a abused word, right? So even a mathematics teacher is running a coaching class,
Correct. Correct.
IIT coaching and all that coaching, right? So somewhere it's
Absolutely.
so important. Yeah, it's important to find your niche, find your voice, and try to pitch on that. And as you rightly said, I think somewhere there is always a segment. Even gurus and babas, they find their segment of people, right?
Correct.
So,
Correct. Correct.
so
Correct.
I think in the similar manner, if you are actually clear what you're pitching about, then somewhere you'll find those segment of people who want that product.
Actually, what you just said about coaching in our country, in India specifically, is also very important. It's a good point you bring up, because when you say coach, we think of sports coaching. So Indian cricket team who's coaching the Indian team, and we think of coaching class. And you go to maths standard, science, you go there, someone teaches you this is exactly what needs to be done. So there's also a responsibility on us as up and coming coaches and established coaches to educate our target audience on what coaching is all about. It's not simply saying, "Hey, I'm a coach," but the first question is, what is a coach? So it's I see it as an opportunity, because the market is extremely nascent in this country, and therefore it's an opportunity for us to steer the conversation in a particular direction. It's an opportunity to educate people on what are the fundamentals of coaching, and therefore it strengthens your position if you are able to give good information out. Right, you're
Ramesh,
not there, versus an axe, which is everybody knows what a deodorant spray is. They can't make out the difference between one and the other. But as
yeah.
coaches, we educate people and say this is what it's all about, and there is some actual value being added here. People will respond to that a lot better. So I think it's a good point that you make, that we are still taking baby steps into that in this country.
Amazing, great point, great point. I think that gives great insights on this thing. On the similar lines, Rajesh, the confusion that I have seen when you talk about the niche, instead of being just a coach, pitching yourself as a coach, first you explain what is coaching, and then you explain what exactly you coach, right? So the confusion that is there, I see that particularly, and this happens with everyone, not only with coaches, is which micro niche they should select, right? For instance, coach is in itself is a very generic term. So how do you suggest to work on that micro niche or core competence or product offering? How can we work towards that?
So I think the honest answer is that this is a very self-reflective question that each person needs to ask of themselves, because a manufactured difference is will be seen as such over a period of time. We are in the coaching is a people business. We are not selling soap and deodorant. We are selling our services, and we are actually selling ourselves as a person, right? When I say that we are the product, it's almost literally that. You will respond to the way I speak. You will respond to my, background, my mannerisms, and therefore it's a very, very personal choice that you're making when you're either selling yourself as a coach or you're hiring someone as a coach. And therefore, being reflective, and we've, as I'm taking my coaching journey, my first steps into this new profession, I've noticed that we've always been asked to be reflective about what others are saying, and to be really listening carefully. I think this is one area where we need to be extremely self-reflective and figure out what are our core strengths and competencies. Are we good at tackling corporate clients, for example? Are we good at speaking to youngsters? Are we good at people who are extreme go-getters? Do we get some energy out of that? What exactly makes us tick will help us fine-tune and actually arrive at our own positioning. What kind of coaches we want to be. And there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. I mean, you could be anything from a CXO coach to a celebrity coach to a life coach. We can get into extreme niches in terms of what kind of person we want to take on as a client. Uh, some people, and while saying this, let me also state that there is no, there's nothing to stop anyone from changing their mind. Let's not look at this as fixed black and white areas that need to be put in stone before we take a first step. You might say, okay, I just want to go there and coach a whole bunch of people and see who I am comfortable with. I don't know right now who I want to coach. I don't know what kind of coach I want to be. So let me talk to a lot of people, get a better understanding of where I feel comfortable, what gives me the most satisfaction, where do I excel. I might find that I'm really good with youngsters who have taken up their first job, or I might find that I'm really good with established professionals who have a very good understanding of their own business. I'm able to relate to them better. It might be a learning experience for you too. So I don't think we should get too hung up on finding an immediate answer, but looking inward makes a lot more sense to me personally than to look outside and say, oh, do I want to tackle that guy? Do I want to tackle that person? It might be more helpful to start with your own thinking first.
Amazing, Rajesh. I think, yeah. So instead of being, looking out, finding that title, like this title is really good, executive coaching. Let me get
Correct.
into that.
Correct.
So rather be
Correct.
inward, think about your strengths and weaknesses, and
Correct.
build on your strength. And on top of it, if you're not aware, I think in digital world we call it A/B testing, right? So start,
Absolutely.
yeah, start
Absolutely.
doing something in the market, right? So even if it's a simple coaching, gradually you will find your niche. So just start
Correct.
doing that, and then and I see that there are so many assessments, and there are some coaches are there, right? Like me and Rajesh, even coaches. If you are not able to find that niche, then discuss with the coach, right? And try
Correct.
to have a
Correct.
session with the coach to understand what exactly you are looking for. And then there are so many assessment, risk assessment, right? Career impact report, and all those things are there.
Correct.
So
Correct.
the child, I think what you are trying to say is it's very important to put time on that, right? To understand what is your internal strength, what exactly
Absolutely.
you want to do, find that out. Don't be hung. to don't be completely stuck to this situation. Okay, if I am not aware, then start doing something and gradually find that out. But finding that niche is very important to actually become a better and successful coach. Yeah.
It's helpful. I won't even necessary is a very strong word, which there are some people who are happy doing whatever they feel like. Today
Yeah.
I'm coaching senior executive. Tomorrow I'm coaching a youngster with his first job. There might be someone who likes to, maybe that becomes, it's how you promote yourself. That becomes your unique selling proposition, as they say. I'm a person who can coach anyone. I'm not specialized. That becomes my niche. I'm a jack of all trades. So you can one should not restrict one's thinking. You can look at it from multiple ways and say because people should not watching this should not get the idea that I actually I taught a very senior person. I coached a very senior person the other day, and today I'm speaking to a 21-year-old who's just taken up her first job. So I really don't have a niche, but that's your niche. Your niche is everyone. So how
Yeah.
you approach it, right?
Amazing. That's a great
That's
perspective, Rajesh. So you are saying I'm specialized in no specialization. That can also be one niche. It's like general
everyone.
physician, right? General physician in the. So not everybody has to be thyroid specialist and all this
Exactly.
cancer specialist. You can
Exactly.
be general physician also.
That's a good analogy. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great point, great point. So, coming to the brand imaging, Rajesh, I see that in particularly in this digital world, right, brand image is something that has become even more important because earlier you were able to control your brand image from the place you're operating and all that. But nowadays, if you want to really scale up really big, so their brand image becomes so important, right? To be successful as a let's say if you want to run this as a business or if you're doing something of your own. So what are your thoughts on the brand image? How can people work on their brand image part of thing? Yeah.
So again, this is something where one can get extremely technical. So I just try and put it as simply as possible. Uh, I think the key factors to be considered, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. The first thing is, of course, to know exactly who you are. What I mentioned in terms earlier, in terms of your tone and manner and your voice, to know exactly what you want to communicate becomes very critical, because that's the only way you will be able to control what you're saying across various channels which are available to you today. And I think that's what you hinted at when you said in today's day and age, you've got so many opportunities to connect with people,
Right.
like they're doing right now on a YouTube channel. Now imagine, even 10 years ago, there are not too many people who would have thought about speaking to 1,000 people at one shot, right? You might have thought of, okay, I'll send an emailer out to 1,000 people and see what happens. But we are actually talking in real time. We are doing this live,
Yeah.
and so many people are sitting and watching this, and this has a life of its own. So a year down the line, someone might be looking at this and saying, "Hey, I need to get in touch with Vineet, or I need to get in touch with Rajesh because they said something which makes sense." So what you say carries a lot of weight in today's day and age, because it's reaching out to a lot of people, and it has an extended shelf life. It's not a newspaper ad कि Monday morning देखा, by Tuesday Tuesday morning I've forgotten what I even read that day.
Right. Right.
Stuff hangs around for a very long time,
Right.
and we've seen this on especially on social media. Someone makes a goof up somewhere, it circulates around the globe, right? Especially with celebrities and people that who are in the news. The minute they make a goof up, that's there for a long time till someone else makes a goof up and you forget about what this person has said at that. So,
Right.
understanding who you are and being very careful about speaking in that particular tone and manner is the first most important thing when it comes to brand image. And you can see this with a lot of top celebrities. They're very careful about how they speak. If you take someone like a Sachin Tendulkar, he doesn't randomly tweet or say some stuff or react to anything which happens. right? Even when it comes to global events, let's say recently there was that thing in the UK with the football fans and the fight which ensued post the match. He's not jumping on Twitter and saying, hey, this, that. He's not passing it because he's got a certain brand image and he has stuck to that ever since he was 16 years old. And you respect him for that.
Yeah.
He's not the kind of guy who just randomly says something. So knowing what to say is critically important. That's the first step of building a brand image. And then saying what you want to say consistently across all formats is the second component. I'm being as basic as possible. Know what to say and then say it consistently across all your channels. Whether you're sending an email, whether you're talking to somebody one-on-one, whether you're doing something on YouTube, whether you're making a PowerPoint presentation, that same tone and manner has to be consistent right across. So I can't be, super serious in an interview as we are doing right now, and then suddenly do a PowerPoint which has got, cartoons all over the place. People will be, who is this guy? This is not, the same guy I heard speak. I have signed him up, and now he's showing me cartoon PowerPoint presentation, right? And vice versa. If I'm joking and laughing out here, and then I do a deck which is like full one, two, three, four for every slide, and ultra serious, the guy will be like, I hired this guy because he seemed like a interesting character. Now he's turned out to be my chemistry teacher from class 9. It's a there's some dissonance which you're creating in the person's mind. So messaging is all about most critical knowing who you are, knowing your voice, and number two, keeping it keeping it the same, consistent across all the media that you're utilizing to speak to people. I think that's the first step.
Amazing, amazing, Rajesh. I liked all the examples that you gave, particularly the newspaper one, right? Earlier, when there was something that
Correct.
we that used to capture our attention, and then उसके बाद अगर उसको देखना है तो वो पूरे dump में जाके कौन देखेगा last week का,
Exactly.
and it was so difficult. But now in digital, you can just search and you're able to find that out. You gave example of Tendulkar, and that was again amazing. He's the guy who actually, and I remember that people prods him so many times. इसके ऊपर नहीं बोलता, ये नहीं बोलता, ये नहीं बोलता है. But he's very
Correct.
careful. He's going to put his
Absolutely.
tweet and all that. So that's another great example. Awesome. So Rajesh, if we talk about this roadmap for a person who has just started, right? Let's say he just want to, he's in coaching or maybe even in other field, and he has started about marketing himself. So what is the kind of roadmap that you can give at a very high? I know it's not a place where you can give the whole roadmap, but at a high
Sure.
level, how does he? What are the steps that he should take to start to market himself?
Sure, sure. No, I think that's an important question, Vineet, because people don't know where to start. Or the reverse is also true. People think that the first thing to do is figure out social media. Ki, where will I, what will I put on social media? What will I say on my Facebook page? What will I say on my LinkedIn page? What will my website look like? And typically, what happens is that your website becomes a crucial thing because everybody knows I must have a website. Whether when I talk about myself either as an individual or as a company partnership, whatever entity, and you then go to a designer. The designer creates the website for you, and a little bit of tweaking, you say, okay, fine, this website looks good, this is me. Now, whatever is there, whatever the designer has given you, then becomes your template for everything else. So if the designer is using certain colors on your website or a certain font, your visiting cards will then start having that, color and font. Your PowerPoint presentations will start looking like that. So in a sense, the tail starts wagging the dog, right?
Yeah,
Your voice is lost.
right.
So let me start at step one. If you're talking about a roadmap, I think the first thing to do is to ask yourself very, very reflective questions in terms of what we have discussed so far. Who are you? What do you want to communicate to people? Who do you want to speak to? What are the benefits that you want to give to your clients? This is the very first step where you need to put down your thoughts very clearly in terms of yourself as the product. And it's unusual for a lot of us to think of ourselves as the product, but I think it's helpful because your answers will then start, making life easier for you as you answer the other questions which come along. If you say that, for example, I'll just give you a quick example. Let's say that I want to come across as a coach who's not who injects a little life, a little humor, who doesn't come across as being too serious and a stick in the mud. Let's say that's what I want to project myself as, right? I want to be a life coach who makes life interesting, who's not a boring guy. Automatically, when I look at a website or a visiting card or a PowerPoint presentation, you'll see a lot of color in what I do, right? There'll be some bright colors. It won't be a black and red presentation, right? Because I'm being a little more outgoing, a little more easy. I want to give a brighter sunshine image of myself, and therefore I'll start gravitating towards colors which are, actually speaking about the spark which I'm bringing to the table, right? So the first step is to ask yourself these really important questions about who you are, what you want to communicate, how do you want to speak. The second step would be to do a lot of research, and this is really important because we all feel that we know everything that is to know about social media, everything that is there to know about advertising. We are all experts because right from when we were kids, we've been exposed to advertising, and we think we know what it's all about. But there are facets to marketing which need to be really understood. And the best way to do that is to go online and get as much gyan as possible. And there's enough and more. You can go to YouTube and you can hear people, see people talking about marketing. You can, query Google and get specific answers on how to create a value proposition or what is the USP. These are all things that you need to understand before you jump into it because it is serious. It is serious business. It's not as simple as saying, I'll put a website, I'll have a PowerPoint presentation, and I'll have a visiting card. I'm set. I think it goes a little deeper than that, and getting a better understanding is important. So, step one, know yourself. Step two, get more information. Step three, start putting your stuff together, putting your collateral together. When I say collateral, I mean the very basics, like a website, like a PowerPoint presentation. Maybe there's a visiting card. In today's day and age of Zoom, at the most you hold up the card and say, this is who I am. But an interesting way of introducing yourself, your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile. If you're talking to youngsters, you'll be on Facebook. If you're talking to companies, you'll be more on LinkedIn. So all those channels and all the things that you're putting out there, that's the third thing that you need to focus on. And while you're doing the step 1, 2, this is as basic as I can get beneath without getting too much into bogged down by details. While you're doing all this, also keep in mind that nothing is sacrosanct. There is no right or wrong here. You might decide to do something completely different from the norm. You've read everything and you've seen everything. You've done your research, and then you say, no, I'm going to do something completely different. That's perfectly fine. You can also do something, find that it doesn't work, and change it around. So we should never be afraid of experimenting because that's what's going to actually help us at the end. There's no one way of doing it. There are multiple ways, but this basic 1, 2, 3 will at least get you started down the right path.
Amazing, Rajesh. I'm sure today all the coaches and all the community people in Unlimited Potential Inside and Beyond, they are going to get some. They are getting some amazing nuggets from you on creating their roadmap. So I really like the steps that you said. That first thing is find out who are you. Right, it's so important to understand yourself, and that's okay. You can change it later on, but at least stick to one thing that you really want to do for some time. Not that daily you are thinking, no, today I'm this, tomorrow I'm that. Then that's where your consistency of the brand image comes, right?
Correct.
Do your research. Second step, you said you do your research, find it out whether this is something that you thought is for you. Is this what you want to stick for some time? And then you start with your offerings, your value proposition, maybe in the form. Then you can create some collaterals like PPTs and websites. And also, you talked about social channels. Update your profiles accordingly, because some people are active on Facebook, some on LinkedIn, and
Correct.
all those pieces. And I really liked that thought when you said that, let's say if you are coming across as a guy with life, right? When I say life, basically somebody who is very serious. That's my perspective.
Correct.
Somewhere
Correct.
we don't see it very, live discussion. For example, when I discuss with you, you always bring that sense of humor, and that makes the whole discussion very interesting. So if you are like that personality, so it's important to use those kind of colors, right? Create that brand. Earlier point you made, that brand consistency, right? It should not be the case that you're coming across as a very, guy with a humor, and suddenly you started a conversation the moment
Correct.
the moment
Correct.
there's a discussion on the PPT and the website and all that, black and white and all. So it's very important to stick with the brand image and then try to be consistent with it. Of course, after a
Correct.
year or so, you think this is not working out, you can change. That's a different story. But when you are there, find it out who you are, do your research, put down your offerings, your propositions, update your social channels, and finally create that brand consistency across things. Amazing. I
Correct.
think this in itself is so powerful, Rajesh. Thank you so much for this. Um, how I know that you have also, and I had a couple of sessions with you as well as when you coached me as well. So just wanted to understand how has been your coaching experience. Now you have an amazing kind of experience in marketing, and as you said initially as well, now you are venturing into coaching as well, right? So let's talk about a bit of your experience and how is it. Generally, people see coaching as a completely different career, right? But you're trying to mix your competencies, the kind of big experience that you have with the coaching as well, right? So how has been your journey till now? And yeah, if you have any thoughts on that, Rajesh.
Sure, sure. No, so I mean, by now you should have figured out that I'm a bit weird when it comes to these kind of matters. I keep jumping all over the place. So far, I'm really enjoying the journey because, like I said, I think I mentioned this right at the beginning. The two things that I always look for are learning and having fun. If you're not learning on the job, you're not doing anything. If you're not having fun, money is a separate issue. Money will always come and go. But learning and having fun are really important. And I'm happy to report that both are happening at this point in time. I'm still, at the pupa stage of my entire journey. But it's something that I see as a long-term prospect. Advertising has brought me this far, and there is definitely stuff that I'd like to share. I did not know much about coaching before I actually got into it. It just seemed interesting, and I entered this world with a view to getting a better understanding and seeing whether I had the aptitude. I think that was also very critical for me. It's nice to I've always been called upon as a mentor for in various situations. Specifically, it's happened very often with youngsters. Friends who have young boys who are about to embark on their first job or are very keen that their sons talk to me before they actually take any mega step in their lives. For whatever reason, I think they find that okay, maybe they find that I'm not matured enough, and therefore, and it might be easier for me to talk to their sons. So that's one of the reasons why I said coaching looks interesting. But I had always approached it as, like we again discussed, we don't know too much about coaching in this country, and therefore I was looking at it as more of what I now realize is mentorship, which is giving gyan. And now that I've got into it, I find it extremely interesting that you're actually unlocking someone else's potential just by listening and asking questions. That's a fascinating thing. Psychology has always interested me, and psychology has also been a key component of advertising, whether consciously or not. You are, playing around with people's emotions and their rational thought process, and there's a lot of manipulation which goes into it. So psychology has always been there in advertising. It's been a big component of advertising, though people have not really created a big hoo-ha about it. It's always been there, just behind, underneath the surface. So coaching has been very, very interesting for me so far. Where it goes is again a question mark. I am not too worried about finding answers immediately. I'm still in the learning process, and I'm taking it a step at a time and seeing. So far, there has not been anything which has thrown up a red flag saying, oh, this is not for you. It's been pretty good, smooth sailing so far. And I think in the months and years ahead, I could definitely see myself going down this path even further and exploring my full potential as a coach.
Awesome, awesome. I really like that line when you said you like this fact that with coaching you are able to unlock people by asking right questions, right? As a mentor, it was always reverse. We always
Correct.
used to give answers. This is how you should do.
Correct.
This is how you should do.
Correct.
And the second fact that you say that psychology has been part of advertising, and I believe psychology has been part of every individual, just that we don't realize it,
True.
how psychology is
Absolutely.
impacting us and all that, right? And somewhere coaching becomes so important from that perspective. And yeah, you are still exploring. That's good to hear. There's no red flag and all that. So at the last, Rajesh, if you want to give a message to young coaches and mentors or anyone else who is trying to pursue a new career, what will be your message to them as a marketing professional, coach, mentor, and so many other hats that you don?
So, right at the offset, I can't give any fundas to young coaches because I don't even consider myself a coach as yet. I'm still an apprentice. I'm still learning. So I don't think it's I'm qualified to give any gyan to coaches per se. But I can offer not advice, but one thought to people who are looking at starting a new career. Or going whole hog into whether it's coaching or whatever. And we are definitely looking at coaching as what this entire discussion is all about. So anybody who's looking to start out on their own as a coach, I think the critical thing to remember is, again, I keep coming back to this, is are you having fun doing it? Is it something that excites you? There's that we were all, I think, people of our generation, we were taught this funda of work for the joy of working, and everything else will automatically follow. If you're enjoying the work that you do, then you're not really working, right?
Right.
You're doing something which you really enjoy, and then you're getting paid for it at the end of it. That's like the cherry on the cake. So, if I had to offer any funda to anyone, it's just that just enjoy the journey. If you're getting enjoyment out of it, if you're learning in the process, that's again an extra bonus. But enjoying the process is more important than anything else, and that automatically it permeates into everything that you do in that space. You'll come across as a much better coach if you're actually enjoying the process. You're not looking at this. I don't think anyone has taken this on from a purely rational perspective to say that, okay, this is the kind of average mean consulting fee that one gets in this particular locality, and therefore I'm going to target this and I'm going to do this, and if I do so many sessions in X number of days, that this is the money I will make. No one is actually really looking at, and if you are looking at it from that perspective, then you're not really going to be enjoying the journey.
Right.
And with all the stuff that I've done over the years, that sense of enjoying what I'm doing has always been critical, and it's helped me. It's helped me a lot in terms of tackling the tough times, because you will come across occasions when your back's against the wall, and your ability to enjoy whatever challenges coming your way is part of the solution that's going to help you actually overcome and move forward. So I think take it easy and not get too caught up in silly issues which can make you lose your focus. Enjoy the journey is the most important thing. Is my thought.
Awesome, awesome. So don't sweat the small battles. Even learn and have fun. That's so amazing. I think the moment you enjoy your journey, then anything happen, you are taking it very lightly. You're not taking things very seriously, right? And there's a bit of balance the moment you
Correct.
try to bring that balance. I learned so many things from this today's session. So that, and the core was having fun. Don't get so serious that you get to that Joker life, right? Why so serious?
Correct.
So
Exactly.
it's, yeah,
Exactly.
it's important to understand your. Rajesh, you're
Correct.
saying something? Yeah.
No, no, I said balance. Balance is
Yeah,
important.
balance is important, right? And who are you? Do your research, your offerings, value propositions, right? The consistency of the brand image. I had so many things for me today, Rajesh, and I'm sure others who are listening to us, they might have got so many people, so many things from this particular session. And thank you so much, Rajesh, for coming here, joining us, and sharing some powerful thoughts on how to market yourself as a coach. I'm sure these strategies are going to help everyone. Not today, as you said. This is not a newspaper that you can't recollect. You can always search and you'll see that this is again helping you out. So thank you so much for coming here, Rajesh.
Most welcome, Vineet. And I'm really glad that you're doing this on a regular basis with your channel. This is something which will definitely have a long life, and wishing you all the very best going forward.
Thank you so much, Rajesh. Thank you so much. And I take lots of inspiration from you. And I'm also trying to start something small in this way. So
Super,
thank you.
super.
Thank you so much, folks. And I will meet you next Thursday in the next episode of Up Talks with Vineet and with another achiever like Rajesh who can add more value to our lives. Till then, keep unleashing your unlimited potential inside you. See you. Bye.